Newcastle United are Carabao Cup finalists yet again with a 2-0 win here over Arsenal at St James's Park. That's 4-0 on aggregate. And it was a brilliant performance by Newcastle. You know, they came into the game 2-0 ahead and they were favourites, but just because they were favourites and had that favourites tag doesn't mean they're going to do the job on Tyneside, but they did in such a professional manner. That is, you know, Newcastle have had big games in the past under Eddie Howe and, you know, risen to the occasion at times, but that was one of the most professional performances I've seen Newcastle put in. I spoke before the game about the crowd, you know, being able to destabilise Arsenal, being able to make them crumble under the pressure, and I would say yes, it did. But I don't want to focus on that too much because that would take away from Newcastle United's performance. Newcastle were brilliant today. Arsenal were rubbish, but Newcastle made them rubbish again. You know, for the third time this year, it was absolutely fantastic from Newcastle without Joe Linton in the squad. That was a big injury blow, and Eddie Howe even made a big tactical change. We don't see it too often from Eddie Howe, but he went from his tried and tested 4-3-3 to a back five. Probably forced into it by that Joe Linton injury, but you know what, it worked, an absolute treat. Newcastle were brilliant, five at the back were fantastic, and to a man they were really good. As I said, the two changes was Sven Botman came in for Joe Linton and Kieran Trippier came in for Tino Livramento. That was an enforced one. The Joe Linton one was of course forced by an injury, and yeah, they ended up in the back five, and that allowed them just to press from the back. It looked defensive, and I'll admit before the game you think, is this going too defensive, or Newcastle going to sit back and hope that, you know, with that 2-0 lead they can just defend? But they didn't. What it allowed Newcastle to do, which I thought was pretty genius to be fair, was allowed one of the centre backs at any point to press up onto the midfield or even the strikers of Arsenal. You know, multiple times Declan Rice was followed, Sandro Tonali stuck on Martin Odegaard, you know, like he was on him like a rash the whole game. But that defence were able to press, and then if one player pressed high up, they could go back into a back four with Lewis Hall and Kieran Trippier on either side, and it worked. Newcastle worked. You know, they dealt with a couple of early chances from Arsenal. It wasn't chances, a couple of corners, a couple of free kicks. That was it. And other than that, Newcastle were brilliant. The atmosphere was fantastic, helped by Alexander Isak's goal. VAR cruelly ruled it out, but it was a brilliant finish. You know, it was a fantastic ball from Gordon, and Isak just slams it at the top corner, a bit like the goal he scored against Liverpool way back when for his first goal for the club. He just sort of give the keeper no chance, and you think at that point when the referee rules out, you're like, oh no, is this going to be a tale of, you know, what could have been for Newcastle? But you know, moments later they did get the goal. Isak again sent through. It was a fantastic little touch from Isak to get in front of Saliba. He just passed it to Gordon frees Isak, and Isak off balance shoots left footed, hits the post, but Jacob Murphy's in the right place, right time to follow home, and Jacob Murphy gets another goal to his tally. That's his highest scoring tally for Newcastle, and Newcastle never looked back from that point. You know, that was 20 minutes in, they were 1-0 up, and that was really the tale of the game. Arsenal looked deflated, defeated. They didn't look like ever really testing Newcastle too much and really ever overthrowing that lead, and certainly not when Anthony Gordon made it 2-0. The goal came from Fabian Schär pressing higher. Fabian Schär wins a ball off Declan Rice on the edge of the Arsenal box from a cold kick, and it just shows that little tactical change that goal would never happen without that tactical change. But it was brilliant work from Schär to find Gordon, and Gordon had the simplest task to pass the ball beyond Raya. Even 5 minutes before that, so just after half time, he got to win the ball high again. Gordon tries to sort of almost lob Raya from 40 yards, and it goes just wide. But that was the intent Newcastle showed. It was the intent to show the whole game. They were absolutely brilliant. And yeah, what else can you say? 4-0 on aggregate. They've beaten Arsenal 3 times this season, not conceded a goal. You know, they played 4 halves of football against Arsenal. In 3 of them, they've won 1-0. 6 halves of football against Arsenal, and in 5 of them, they've won 1-0. With the other one being that, you know, the 0-0 in the second half of the game here in the Premier League back in November. But yeah, brilliant performance from Newcastle. Fantastic response from the game against Fulham, and another final. And this time around, of course, it's another final, and Newcastle fans will go there in their thousands and hope to see, you know, another win. But this time, more than last time, it won't, and it shouldn't feel like a day out, if you know what I mean. Newcastle went out for the weekend out because it was Wembley for the first time, but this time they're going to go to win. As of time of recording, obviously we don't know who they're going to play, whether it's Liverpool or Tottenham, but whoever it is, they'll fancy the chances to win. You know, they give Liverpool a really good game here back in December. They've obviously beat Tottenham twice, and obviously they've got Liverpool to play in a couple of weeks before, potentially a meeting in the final. So it's whoever it is, they'll fancy the chances. But right now, Newcastle can reflect on a brilliant, 90 minutes here, brilliant 90 minutes at the Emirates Stadium, and really be happy with what they've produced, and book the place in another final. It doesn't happen often, although it's happened twice in 3 years. And of course, with the FA Cup to come against Birmingham on Saturday, who knows what will happen in that game. No doubt Eddie Howe will probably rest a few of his players, especially after today, so who knows what will come there. But yeah, it's another trip to Wembley for Newcastle, their fans and the team. And yeah, as I said, this one is hopefully different. This one they'll go with expectation of winning. And you got to remember, in this cup run, they beat Nottingham Forest. Okay, they got a draw against Wimbledon, but they beat Wimbledon, they beat Chelsea, and they beat Brentford, and they beat Arsenal. Not just over 2 legs, but twice over 2 legs. That's a great cup run. You know, they're beating big teams. They're not beating loads of lower league teams and getting the final on a fluke. But you could argue that sort of happened last time with their draw. But they're beating teams and big teams, and now they've got one more game. Can they finally, you know, deliver that trophy that the fan base and everyone associated with this club has waited for so long? Yeah, it does feel different right now, but the proof will be in, you know, a month's time when that game happens, but on March 16th. But right now, Newcastle United, you can look forward to another trip to Wembley. And as the stadium announcer said after the game, get your hotels booked, get your trains booked, because Newcastle United are back at Wembley.